My beloved child, I speak to you with urgency because time is shorter than you think, and your tomorrow truly rests upon the choices you make today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when it feels convenient, but right now, in this moment where heaven is watching and history is being written, and I cannot allow you to take my words lightly. For each step you take today is setting the stage for what you will face tomorrow, and if you hesitate, if you treat my warning as something ordinary, you will miss the open doors I have placed before you, and those doors will not remain open forever, because opportunity has a window, and when the window closes, regret tries to enter, and I do not want you to live with regret when I have already made a way for you to live in victory, and that is why I am speaking so directly, because your decisions in this very hour are like seeds, and seeds never remain as seeds. They always grow, they always multiply, they always produce fruit, whether good or bad, and the ground of your life is fertile. So whatever you plant through your choices today will show itself in your tomorrow, and I am urging you to sow with wisdom, to sow with faith, to sow with trust in my word, because the enemy is sowing lies into your mind, trying to make you believe that what you do right now does not matter. But I am telling you with all the authority of heaven that it matters more than you could possibly imagine, because one choice can alter the course of generations. One yes to me can release blessings that will flow down to your children's children, and one no to my guidance can invite storms that you were never meant to endure. And this is why I need you to see how serious this moment is. For the enemy desires to blind you into complacency, to whisper that you can wait, that you can delay, that you can ignore my voice. But I am shaking you awake because delay is not safe, hesitation is not neutral, and standing still when I am calling you forward is the same as moving backward. So rise up now, make the decision now, step into faith now, for tomorrow is shaped in the furnace of today's obedience, and when you take that step, when you choose my way over your fear, my hand will go before you, my power will guard you, my mercy will cover you, and you will see the evidence of my faithfulness like never before. But if you resist, if you cling to your own reasoning instead of my direction, then you are building tomorrow's house on sand. And when the winds come, when the floods rise, when the pressure increases, the foundation will not hold. But if you listen, if you act in obedience now, you are anchoring your life on the rock that cannot be moved. And storms will come, yes, but they will not shake you. And fire will rise, yes, but it will not consume you. For I will stand with you in every trial, and I will turn what was meant to destroy you into the very thing that will elevate you. And this is why I am pressing on your heart with such intensity right now, because your tomorrow is not just about you. It is about the lives that will be impacted through your obedience. It is about the chains that will break in your family line because you chose to obey me. It is about the doors of provision that will open because you trusted my timing. And it is about the miracles that will unfold because you dared to believe when everything in the natural told you not to. So I ask you again, my child, will you trust me enough to act today? Will you trust me enough to obey today? Will you trust me enough to surrender what I am asking for today? Because your tomorrow is already waiting for your answer right now. Child, as you are hearing me now, sense how the moment you are standing in is shaping more than a single day. It is forming a road ahead of you, a road that will carry you further than you have yet imagined. And each motion of your heart, each small act, each hidden decision is laying stones on that road. Every path you walk upon tomorrow is being poured out now like wet concrete that will harden into direction. It is setting the angles and the turns and the junctions that will appear before you. That is why I am urging you with intensity to become deliberate with the steps you are taking, to weigh them not with human reasoning but with heaven's insight. I am showing you that nothing is random, that even what appears minor is a link in a chain, that every response you give to my prompting is like a compass needle pointing you either toward life or away from it. There are unseen ripples moving out from your present choices. They reach forward into hours you have not yet entered, and they are shaping the atmosphere you will breathe in those hours. When you lean into me right now, when you anchor your heart to what I am saying right now, you are releasing stability into days ahead that you cannot yet see. But if you drift, if you treat your moments lightly, if you walk with no awareness of my voice, then tomorrow becomes a maze built by chance instead of a map written by destiny. I am pulling you close to keep you from wandering into confusion. I am drawing a straight line so that your feet will not stumble. I want you to grasp that the seeds of clarity are sown in listening now, that the courage you will need later is planted by obedience now, that the doors you will step through in coming seasons are framed by your yes in this season. Even the battles you will win later are being tilted toward your favor right now by how you respond to my instruction. Do not think of this as pressure. Think of it as preparation. Do not see it as a demand. See it as a shield. Because the adversary builds snares far ahead of you, and I am already laying down routes of escape. But those routes are tied to the footsteps you take this moment. Every time you choose trust over doubt, you hammer a stake of light into ground that would have been dark. Every time you choose generosity over fear, you open conduits of provision into areas where scarcity would have stood. Every time you choose prayer over distraction, you stretch a bridge of strength across a chasm you have not yet reached. This is how futures are built. This is why I speak. I am not giving you slogans. I am handing you blueprints. I am not painting pictures to inspire you for an instant. I am pouring foundation for a house you have not yet moved into. Take this deeply. Your future is being engineered right now by the alignment of your inner life with my direction. If you align, the structure will hold. If you wander, cracks appear before you even step onto it. That is why you feel the urgency in my words. That is why the atmosphere around you feels like it is vibrating. Heaven is drawing your attention to what matters because I want you strong when the time arrives. I am inviting you to walk as a builder with me, to shape your unseen hours with faith-filled bricks instead of reactionary straw. Hear me. What you strengthen now will carry you then. What you establish now will not collapse when pressure comes. I am setting you on this path because I want you to arrive at tomorrow's threshold with everything intact: your peace, your clarity, your mission, your joy. Keep your gaze on me. Every footprint today is a prophecy of where you will stand later. And because the road ahead is being paved in every silent choice you make, I must warn you, beloved, that ignoring what I reveal in this moment is more dangerous than you realize. For neglect creates openings that darkness quickly fills, and neglect gives permission to forces that would gladly steal what I intended for you. And that is why I cannot allow you to slip into carelessness or delay, because even hesitation allows the enemy to plant weeds in the soil of your tomorrow. This is not to terrify you but to awaken you, for I do not desire to see you waste years chasing what could have been prevented if you had only listened now. The reason I press your spirit with urgency is because you stand at a crossroad where paths divide, one that seems simple but leads into loss, and another that requires discipline but carries you into destiny. You cannot afford to treat my warning as optional, because to dismiss my counsel is to hand your future into the grip of deception. And deception never arrives loudly. It comes disguised as comfort, as distraction, as opportunity that looks harmless but hides destruction. That is why I speak directly and firmly, because the cost of ignoring my voice will be heavier than the sacrifice of obeying it. I want you to recognize that every time you treat my nudge lightly, you give ground to an adversary who is patient, who waits for moments when you are weary, who schemes quietly while you think you are safe. I am sounding this alarm now so you do not wander into traps designed to consume you. Do not underestimate how quickly small compromises grow into chains. Do not dismiss how a single wrong turn can spiral into a season of regret. I am not here to condemn you. I am here to protect you. But I cannot protect what you refuse to surrender. If you block your ears to my warning, you choose to walk unguarded through a battlefield you were never meant to cross alone. I see every snare placed in shadows. I see every whisper that seeks to twist your thinking. I see the invitations that look sweet but are poisoned at the core. My warning is the shield I am placing in your hand, but a shield only saves when it is lifted. I want you to understand this clearly. You are not simply choosing between good and bad. You are choosing between life and collapse, between inheritance and loss, between fullness and emptiness. That is why my spirit does not whisper faintly but speaks with fire inside you. I am cutting through the fog so you cannot claim you did not know. I am removing excuses so you cannot say you were unaware. I am reaching into your very soul so that you will not later look back and wish you had listened when you had the chance. Child, you stand at a tipping point. What you do with this warning decides not only how you step forward but what remains standing behind you. Do not gamble with your tomorrow by treating today's instruction as something optional. Do not hand away years of blessing for moments of comfort. The danger of delay is real. The danger of casualness is real. The danger of ignoring me is real. That is why I thunder now, because I want to see you rise, not fall, advance, not collapse, flourish, not wither. Hear me. Your safety is in your obedience. Your strength is in your surrender. Your security is in your willingness to act when I speak. Ignore this and storms will come without covering, but heed me and you will stand clothed in armor no force can penetrate. I am not trying to burden you. I am saving you. I am not here to restrict you. I am rescuing you. Take my words with weight, for they are life to your bones and fire to your path, and they are being spoken now because the moment of decision is upon you, and you cannot afford to delay. Listen closely, precious one, because the reason my tone is firm is not to frighten you but to keep you from walking blindly into shadows where you could be harmed. When a parent sees a child about to step into traffic, they do not whisper gently. They call loudly, urgently, sharply, because love does not watch silently while danger approaches. That is why you feel the sharpness of my call right now. I am not here to accuse you, but to awaken your discernment, to sharpen your inner sight so that you do not stumble in the fog of half-truths and mixed motives that swirl around you. There are voices competing for your attention, each promising safety, each claiming wisdom, each offering shortcuts to ease, but not all of them are aligned with the path I have prepared. Some speak sweet words but conceal hidden hooks. Others flatter you so that you will lower your guard. If you rely only on your senses, you will be fooled, but if you train your ear to my whisper, you will perceive the difference instantly. I long for you to walk with clarity so complete that deception cannot find a foothold. This is why I am training you in vigilance now, while you still have time to adjust your course. You have been given an inner compass, my spirit, and he never misleads. But a compass unused cannot guide. You must pause long enough to consult what I have placed within you. Pause before you speak. Pause before you step. Pause before you sign. In that pause, you will feel my nudge, and that nudge will save you from missteps that look harmless but open deep wounds later. You are at a moment when preparation is your protection. I am equipping you with insight so that you will not simply survive the coming tests but move through them unharmed. Do not interpret the weight of this message as a sign that you have failed. Interpret it as evidence that I care enough to warn you before anything collapses. I do not wait for ruin to arrive. I intervene beforehand. I am the light shining on the edge of the cliff so you will not tumble over it. This is what I want you to grasp today. You are not alone in your choices. I am with you, illuminating what cannot be seen with the natural eye. If you will cultivate stillness before action, you will find me revealing traps long before they snap shut. If you will learn to question every glittering offer in the light of my truth, you will walk straight even when the road twists. This vigilance will not make your life heavier. It will make it freer. It will strip away confusion and keep your heart steady. You will begin to recognize deception not by analyzing every detail but by sensing its absence of peace. My peace will be the signpost. Where it is absent, step back. Where it fills you, move forward. This is how you will avoid unseen harm. This is how you will navigate the maze without panic. This is how you will travel through a world of shifting stories with an unshakable core. Hear me again. I am not scolding you. I am shielding you. I am not amplifying your fear. I am building your sight. The urgency in my tone is proof that you are deeply loved, because I do not leave those I love to wander without warning. And if you will heed this training now, this sharpening of your discernment, you will not only avoid danger, but also become a beacon for others who are lost. Your alertness will save them, too. Your clarity will guide them out. Your steadiness will become their landmark. This is part of the assignment on your life, to move so attuned to me that your very presence disrupts deception. That is why you are feeling this stretching now. That is why you sense my intensity. It is because your life matters. Your influence matters. Your decisions matter. And I am determined to keep you from stumbling into snares that would delay everything I have planned for you. Stay alert now, for as you are learning to discern, you must also understand that there are snares laid out ahead of you with precision, range to look ordinary, time to intersect with your steps just when you feel tired or distracted. These are not crude or obvious, but subtle arrangements designed to redirect you a few degrees at a time until you find yourself far from the course prepared for you. Because of this, I am instructing you to walk with a new kind of attentiveness, not a nervous suspicion, but a holy sharpness, an inner keenness that notices when something that appears inviting carries a strange undertone. There are patterns, habits, and atmospheres that try to draw you into cycles which drain strength quietly over weeks and months until courage fades and passion cools. My warning is meant to keep you from ever entering such spirals. I am giving you strategies now that you will be grateful for later. Speak truth even when silence seems easier. Question flattering words before you agree with them. And weigh every alliance in the light of long-term fruit rather than immediate relief. Many traps are baited with comfort. Very few look like pain at first. But what starts as ease can end as entanglement. Do not underestimate how quickly a small compromise becomes a heavy shackle. This is why I am urging you to strengthen your inner watchman, to train your perception until it is as quick as a reflex. When you sense the faintest unease, step back and ask me. I will answer. When you feel an inner nudge to pause, do not rush ahead. That hesitation is a shield. When you notice an unexpected heaviness around what should be simple, recognize it as a sign that something is hidden. In this way, you will move like one walking through a field but able to see what lies beneath the grass. This awareness will not paralyze you, it will empower you. You will travel lighter because you are no longer stepping blindly. You will spend less time repairing damage because you avoided the snare in the first place. I am teaching you this because your calling is too valuable to be delayed by preventable wounds. And while you grow in this watchfulness, I am also surrounding you with unseen protection. Forces you cannot see are already positioned along your path to intercept threats before they reach you. Yet even this covering works best when you cooperate with my direction. Think of it like a road lit by lamps. The light is there, but you must choose to walk where the illumination falls. Step into the brightness I provide and traps lose their power. Wander into unlit ground and you invite unnecessary struggle. I am equipping you so that you will walk as one who recognizes both the beauty and the danger of the terrain and navigates it with grace. You will not live in fear, you will live in clarity. You will not live reacting to crises, you will live anticipating them and bypassing them entirely. This is the lifestyle I am forming in you, a rhythm of movement where protection and progress work together. When others are caught off guard, you will remain steady. When others are ensnared, you will pass safely. When others wonder how you knew to avoid a pitfall, you will know it was because you stayed sensitive to my guidance. The sensitivity is not a burden. It is a gift. It is me sharing my sight with you so that you never again stumble through life as though blindfolded. Receive this gift fully. Practice it daily. Treat each prompting as praise. In doing so, you are fortifying tomorrow's journey today. Beloved, because you are now learning to walk with sharper vision, you must also realize that not every invitation to move forward is meant for you, and not every opening you see is a path crafted by my hand. Some passages are fashioned to detour you, promising advancement but carrying you into corridors of frustration and delay. I want you to develop a holy patience that allows you to examine every opportunity in the light of my counsel before stepping through. This patience is not stagnation. It is the wisdom of a seasoned traveler who checks the strength of a bridge before crossing. There will be moments when a door swings wide and everything in you wants to run through, yet my spirit will whisper, wait. In those moments, remember that a trap often mimics a gateway. Pause, breathe, and ask me for insight, for I will reveal motives hidden beneath appearances. I am teaching you to discern between what is merely accessible and what is actually appointed. Accessibility without assignment leads to exhaustion. Appointment carries grace, and grace will sustain you in ways effort never can. When you follow grace, the path may still challenge you, but it will not deplete you. It will stretch you in strength, not drain you in confusion. This is the mark of my leading. There is clarity even amid difficulty. There is peace even amid pressure. There is fruit even amid pruning. If you rush ahead into spaces I have not cleared, you take on burdens you were never meant to carry. Projects begun outside of my timing become weights instead of wings. Relationships entered without my counsel become entanglements instead of partnerships. I am warning you now so you can avoid these unnecessary entanglements. Let me direct your timing as well as your steps. I do not only decide where, I decide when. Just as a seed planted too early is lost to frost, so an action taken before its moment can fail even though it looked promising. But when you align with my schedule, seasons conspire to assist you, doors open and remain open, and what seemed impossible begins to unfold naturally. Child, do not measure progress by speed, measure it by alignment. A slow movement inside my will is safer and more powerful than a quick leap outside of it. Trust me to manage your advancement. Trust me to hold opportunities until you are ready to steward them. Trust me to close options that would secretly harm you. This posture will protect you from the counterfeit. It will also train your heart to recognize authenticity at a glance. The more you practice waiting on my voice before stepping, the more instinctively you will know when a path is truly mine. Then, when I say go, you will be able to move without hesitation, free from doubt because you know you have heard. This is the rhythm I am establishing in you. Watchfulness without fear, patience without passivity, movement without striving. It will make you like a river guided by banks always flowing, never stagnant, yet never spilling into destruction. And while you cultivate this rhythm, I am preparing hidden provisions that will meet you exactly at the places where obedience leads. You will not find these supplies if you run ahead. They are stationed at appointed coordinates along the journey. Every time you choose to pause and seek me, you ensure that when you arrive at the next stage, everything you need is already waiting. This is how I secure your future, not by giving you everything at once, but by arranging what you will need along the way. So hold steady, lean into my timing, and let your discernment mature. In doing so, you will not only avoid pitfalls, but also enter doors no one can shut, carrying peace as your confirmation and strength as your evidence that you are in the place I intended all along. There will be situations that close before you can even step into them, and you might be tempted to think you missed your chance. But in truth, those closures are deliberate shields. Not every invitation that disappears is a loss. Often it is a rescue. What you interpret as rejection can be a hidden act of preservation, keeping you from complications you cannot yet see. When a door shuts unexpectedly, resist the urge to force it back open or to chase explanations from people who cannot provide them. Instead, pause and consider that your path is being edited with care, that unseen hands are guiding you away from entanglements that would have drained your focus, stolen your energy, or eroded your integrity. You are being spared costs that would have multiplied quietly over time. In this season, the removal of certain prospects is just as important as the arrival of new ones. The closing of an avenue can be the clearest confirmation that a different route is being prepared. Trust this pruning process even when it feels abrupt. There is a wisdom at work arranging your steps so that the future being built for you remains stable. If you attempt to drag old opportunities into a new chapter, they become burdens instead of blessings. If you keep grasping for what has been taken away, you cannot receive what is approaching. This is why it is vital to cultivate open hands and a willing heart. The faster you release what has ended, the quicker you are positioned to grasp what is beginning. There is no wasted movement in this redirection. Every shift is calculated to place you where the resources, alliances, and timing will support your true assignment. Think of it as a craftsman chiseling away excess stone to reveal a hidden figure inside a block. Each strike removes something, but each removal brings you closer to the finished form. This shaping may not feel gentle, but it is precise. It is not meant to wound. It is meant to define. Without it, you remain surrounded by material that obscures who you are meant to be. Accepting this process will spare you unnecessary delays and allow you to move forward without the weight of what cannot accompany you. And as you do, your discernment grows sharper. You start to recognize sooner which paths are authentic and which are distractions, which invitations carry life and which conceal compromise. The more quickly you respond to these cues, the more fluidly you will transition between seasons without friction. This responsiveness is not about being impulsive, it is about being attuned. It creates a posture of readiness where you can pivot gracefully when circumstances shift, because your confidence is not anchored in the options before you but in the guidance you are receiving moment by moment. From that posture, even abrupt endings will no longer shake you. They will signal to you that something larger is unfolding. And in time you will see how every closure made space for a more fitting opening, how every exit cleared a path for a truer entrance, how every release prepared you to handle a greater trust. This awareness will free you from bitterness and confusion. It will give you the ability to bless what leaves and to step boldly into what arrives. It will mark you as one who moves without clinging, who advances without fear, who travels light because nothing owns you except the mission you have been given. This is the maturity I am cultivating in you now so that the unfolding of the next stage will find you unburdened and ready. As certain passages are being sealed shut, others are beginning to unlock in ways that may surprise you. And these are not random breaks of luck but carefully orchestrated alignments timed to reveal themselves only when you were prepared to handle them. What once felt distant or impossible is about to stand before you as accessible, not because you forced it but because the appointed season has arrived. These fresh openings will often appear quietly, without spectacle, so that only those paying attention to the inner stirring will recognize them. They may not come dressed in grandeur, yet they carry the weight of destiny within them. Some will seem too simple to matter, yet from those unassuming beginnings greater things will unfold. Pay attention to the subtle introductions, the unexpected conversations, the quiet nudges that draw you toward places you would not have considered before. Within them are pathways I designed long before you asked for direction. Do not dismiss these because they lack the drama you expected. Often the greatest movements begin in small, always hidden spaces. You must train your perception to see beyond appearances and to sense the current pulling you forward. When you step into these new avenues, you will notice an unusual ease, not the ease of laziness but the ease of alignment, where effort produces fruit instead of frustration, where progress flows instead of stalls. That flow is the confirmation that you have entered a zone I cleared for you. This is how you will distinguish between distraction and destiny. One drains, the other multiplies. In these appointed doors, resources will begin to align. Allies will emerge unexpectedly, and timing will synchronize in ways no human planning could arrange. You will discover conversations that connect pieces of your calling, provisions that arrive exactly when needed, and strength that rises in you beyond your natural capacity. This is the fruit of moving in harmony with the unseen hand that has been arranging details all along. The key is willingness. These doors require courage to walk through because they will not look like what you imagined. They may lead you into environments that stretch you, into roles you thought belonged to others, into places where your abilities feel small at first. But it is precisely there that you will discover reservoirs you did not know existed within you. The opportunities I am releasing now are not for comfort, but for expansion. They are designed to stretch your reach, sharpen your skills, and deepen your trust. You may hesitate because they appear larger than your capacity, but remember that provision always follows obedience. Do not wait until you feel qualified. Qualification grows inside the journey, not before it. These doors are timed precisely so that as you step forward, the resources and strength will meet you along the way. Think of them as rivers that do not appear until your foot touches the bank. The water is released when the step is taken. That is why hesitation is costly. If you delay, the current waits but you lose momentum. If you step, momentum multiplies. This is the rhythm of advancement that is now before you. Embrace it boldly, for these are not random options, but purposeful alignments carrying you closer to the fulfillment of what was spoken over your life. Understand this clearly. The future you long for does not suddenly appear without cost. It is shaped by the actions you take in this very hour. And hesitation is the thief that steals more from you than outright refusal ever could. Every choice you make today is a seed, and those seeds germinate whether or not you are watching. When you move with conviction, the soil of your tomorrow receives healthy seed and yields fruit in due season. But when you delay, you scatter nothing, and the ground is left vulnerable for weeds to take root instead. Obedience is not about following rules for the sake of rules. It is about setting your trajectory, about creating an unshakable momentum that carries you into the place prepared for you. There are moments that come once, openings that appear only briefly, and if you stand undecided, they close while you weigh your feelings. Many who live in regret now are those who thought they could respond later, not realizing that later is not guaranteed. You must grasp that the window of alignment requires immediacy. When I urge you forward, it is because the timing is right, because the soil is moist, because the air is right for growth. A farmer who ignores the planting season cannot demand a harvest months later. In the same way, if you ignore the summons of this moment, you cannot expect the fullness of what could have been birthed in your tomorrow. Every delay stretches consequences further, like ripples spreading across a pond, shifting outcomes that should have belonged to you. This is why I am urging you with such force. Your destiny is time-sensitive. Each hesitation is not neutral. It costs alignment. It alters rhythm. It creates unnecessary battles. What you defer today becomes weight you must carry tomorrow. But when you act in the moment I call, you release a chain of breakthroughs that extend beyond you, touching those connected to your journey, multiplying into places you cannot even see yet. Think about this. One step of obedience today can unlock doors for people you haven't even met. One act of courage in this hour can create ripples that bless generations after you. The enemy knows this, which is why he lulls many into procrastination, convincing them that delay is harmless. But delay is a silent thief, robbing you of opportunities while you are still promising yourself you will move eventually. That is why I am telling you not to postpone. Do not wait for better feelings, for perfect clarity, for complete resources. Move when I speak, for provision always meets the obedient heart. Each time you respond quickly, you weaken the grip of fear, you silence the lies of doubt, and you establish a new rhythm of faith. This rhythm becomes a shield, protecting you from future indecision. Tomorrow's security is built upon today's obedience. If you treat my instruction with weight, you will walk into days marked by clarity, strength, and provision. But if you shrug off my prompting, you will find yourself walking in circles, always busy, but never advancing. I do not want that for you. I want you steady, moving, advancing step by step into the unfolding of my promise. So understand this truth deeply. Your tomorrow depends not on vague intentions but on the decisions you make now. Choose quickly, choose rightly, choose with faith, and you will see how the pathway rises to meet you in ways you never thought possible. Do not underestimate how costly hesitation can be, for each moment of wavering becomes an opening for confusion to grow, and confusion left unchecked turns into paralysis that steals momentum. When I urge you to act, it is not because I wish to burden you but because there is danger in remaining undecided. In the natural, a soldier standing still in the middle of battle becomes the easiest target. In the same way, when you refuse to move in the direction I am pressing, you expose yourself to pressures that were never meant to touch you. Delay is not neutral. It reshapes the course you walk, often forcing you to fight unnecessary struggles that obedience would have spared you. I have seen many fall into cycles where they plan, they dream, they even speak words of faith, but they never actually step, and so years slip through their fingers while they still hope for outcomes that could have already been theirs. This is why I speak so firmly now. Hesitation steals more from you than outright disobedience, because it lulls you into believing you are still safe while in truth you are drifting further from the appointed place. I want you to understand that the rhythm of destiny requires decisive movement, Not reckless rushing, but prompt alignment with the moment I highlight. When I open a way, step through it. When I nudge you to release something, release it immediately. When I stir you to speak, speak without fear. These moments are not random, they are strategic placements that shift the atmosphere around you. Each timely response breaks chains of stagnation and sets you on accelerated ground. But when you resist, you build walls around your own path, and those walls take more energy to dismantle later than they would have required to simply obey in the first place. Hear this carefully. Every instruction carries a time stamp. The blessing attached to it is linked to the moment it was given. And while my mercy is great, and I can redeem lost time, it is always better to walk in step than to wait for repair. You must shake off the illusion that you can postpone forever. Tomorrow's clarity is built from today's obedience and not tomorrow's intention. If you keep pushing decisions forward, you are stacking weight upon your own shoulders that will eventually feel unbearable. But when you move promptly, a lightness enters because you are walking in sync with the rhythm set for you. This is why I stress to you that delay is dangerous. It masquerades as safety, but in reality creates vulnerability. It gives room for doubts to multiply, for fears to gain a foothold, for voices of others to sway you from the direction I am leading. The longer you linger, the louder those voices become. That is why I am urging you now. Silence hesitation with immediate action. Trust that I have gone before you, that resources will align as you move, that strength will rise in proportion to your obedience. You are not called to carry the weight of tomorrow before it arrives. You are called to respond faithfully today. And that response is in the power to unlock the path that looks blocked, to open the well that looks dry, to release the miracle that looks impossible. Act when I speak, and you will see the ripple of that obedience extend far beyond you, shaping not only your future but the lives intertwined with yours. The danger of delay is real, but so is the reward of quick obedience. Choose the latter, and watch how swiftly the landscape changes in your favor. You are entering a period when noise will rise around you, when countless signals will compete for your attention, each demanding urgency, each promising insight, each dressed in convincing language. This flood of input is not accidental. It is designed to pull your gaze in 100 directions so that you cannot discern the one path you are meant to follow. In the midst of that onslaught, you must cultivate an inner stillness stronger than the outer volume. Without that discipline, you become reactive, bouncing from one demand to another, never able to hear the single, steady frequency that carries your true instructions. This is why I am teaching you now to quiet the clamor before it begins. Set boundaries around what enters your heart. Choose carefully which reports you listen to, which conversations you allow to shape your mood, which environments you place yourself in. Not all information is nourishment. Some is poison disguised as knowledge. Not all urgency is authentic. Some is manipulation masquerading as importance. The skill of this season is learning to separate signal from noise, essence from distraction, purpose from pressure. When you create sacred space to listen before reacting, you give me room to filter the input for you. In that space, my direction becomes unmistakable. You start to perceive a calm thread running underneath the chaos, guiding you step by step. This thread is your lifeline. Hold to it and the turbulence cannot sweep you off course. Ignore it and you will find yourself exhausted, chasing issues that are not yours to solve, defending against accusations that were never meant to touch you, worrying about outcomes that were never assigned to your stewardship. Your strength must be preserved for what truly matters. Every time you say no to needless noise, you say yes to clarity. Every time you refuse to rush into a manufactured emergency, you reinforce your capacity to respond to real assignments. This discipline will become a shield around your mind. It will make you unshakable when others are panicking. It will enable you to discern truth in a world of shifting narratives. It will protect your peace so that you can build without interruption. I am calling you to become an island of focus in a sea of distraction, a lighthouse of steadiness in a storm of conflicting messages. From that posture, decisions become simpler, priorities arrange themselves, and you no longer feel torn between competing pulls. You will be able to move with precision instead of scattering your energy in every direction. This is not isolation. It is alignment. It is not withdrawal. It is stewardship of your attention. And as you practice this, you will notice an increase of insight, because you are no longer drowning in excess words. You will also become a refuge for others, because your calm presence will draw them out of confusion. But you cannot offer that stability to them until you cultivate it within yourself. Begin now. Create moments of silence, moments of reflection, moments of listening. Guard those moments as fiercely as you would guard treasure. In those spaces I will anchor you so deeply that the rising noise will only confirm your direction instead of shaking it. This is the training that will equip you for the assignments ahead. Without it, your calling is at risk of being diluted by endless reaction. With it, your calling becomes laser-focused, sharp, and unstoppable. Take this to heart. Focus is not a luxury. It is survival. In the days ahead, your ability to filter voices will be as crucial as your ability to move. Train it now and you will walk through the coming swirl untouched, carrying a clarity that nothing can counterfeit. In the midst of all the competing sounds, your greatest safeguard will be the unwavering concentration on my voice alone, for what I speak carries substance that no other source can provide. When you anchor your attention on me, distractions lose their grip, fear loses its volume, and confusion begins to scatter like mist under sunlight. My voice carries weight that settles you, direction that steadies you, and authority that silences every counterfeit whisper. But this focus is not automatic. It is cultivated intentionally. It requires you to guard the gateways of your mind, to be selective about what you allow to feed your inner world. If you treat every voice as equal, you dilute the clarity of my guidance. To focus on me is to elevate my words above all else, to filter every other influence through the truth I reveal. This is not about ignoring the world, but about refusing to let the world define your reality. When you lock your gaze on me, you learn to see beyond what headlines scream, beyond what circumstances suggest, beyond what emotions insist. My perspective lifts you above the noise so you can discern the larger picture unfolding. Focus on me is not passive gazing. It is active engagement, like a sailor fixing on the North Star to chart a course through shifting seas. That fixed point allows you to move confidently even when waves crash violently. Without it, you drift aimlessly, pushed wherever currents take you. This is why I am pressing you now to develop the discipline of undivided attention. Make room daily to still yourself, to tune every part of your being toward my presence, to allow my spirit to adjust your perspective until peace replaces panic. When you do this, you begin to notice something powerful. The very storms that threaten to overwhelm you lose their power to dictate your steps. They may roar, but they cannot redirect you. You move with calm certainty while others scramble. And this calmness becomes a testimony, a beacon that others are drawn to, because stability in chaos is unmistakable evidence of a higher source. Focus on me also transforms how you interpret opposition. Instead of seeing obstacles as dead ends, you begin to view them as platforms for growth. My voice redefines challenges into opportunities, setbacks into preparation, waiting into strengthening. The shift in interpretation keeps you from despair when situations appear resistant. You stop measuring progress by visible change alone and start measuring it by alignment with what I have spoken. This is why those who focus on me endure while others burn out. Their fuel is not circumstances but revelation. Their direction is not dictated by trends but by truth. Child, I am inviting you into that kind of focus now. A focus so sharp that the enemy's attempts to confuse you become laughable, because you instantly recognize their hollowness. A focus so anchored that even when plans around you collapse, you remain unmoved. A focus so intimate that you discern my whisper in the smallest detail of your day. This focus is not beyond you. It is available the moment you choose to value my voice above every other. Practice it now in the ordinary moments. Pause and listen. Weigh your reactions against my word. Redirect your gaze when it drifts. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes, until focus on me is no longer effort, but reflex. This is the place I want to bring you to, where your attention is so attuned that no clamor can drown me out, where your inner compass is so steady that no manipulation can sway you. For in the days ahead, clarity will not come from information overload but from intimacy with me. Fix your focus and you will not only navigate safely, but also help others find direction in the midst of their confusion. The silent cries you thought no one noticed have not only been heard, but gathered and held. Every tear you released in private counted like drops into a vessel that has been filling over time, waiting for the moment to be poured back as a stream of restoration. Nothing you surrendered in pain has been lost in the void. It has been stored as material for the very answer you have been longing for. Hidden anguish becomes a language in heaven that cannot be misread. It speaks on your behalf even when you have no words left, and that intercession is already producing results behind scenes you cannot view yet. The weight you carried in isolation is being transformed into substance that will anchor you in the days ahead. You will discover that the things you thought were breaking you were in fact shaping you to hold more than you could before. Pressure has stretched the capacity of your heart so that when the release comes you will not only receive but steward it wisely. This is why I did not allow immediate relief at every turn. Some answers had to ripen. Some promises had to develop roots unseen. Some breakthroughs had to wait until you were ready to inhabit them without collapse. What felt like silence was a slow construction, a careful arrangement of details, a weaving of timing and connection so intricate that only now is it nearing completion. Soon you will step into rooms where favor greets you before you speak, where provision sits waiting before you ask, where opportunities that once ignored you will call your name. These are not random rewards but the fruit of hidden faithfulness. The tears that watered barren ground are now bringing forth life. You will watch circumstances shift not because you forced them but because the moment has matured. And when it happens, remember the nights of weeping not as bitterness but as testimony. They were not wasted seasons but investment periods. Every prayer whispered in exhaustion built momentum you did not see. Every act of kindness performed without recognition planted influence that is now rising quietly to open doors you cannot yet imagine. Even relationships you thought ended permanently may be rewritten with redemption, not to bring you back into old cycles but to demonstrate how completely I can restore. This turning point is not a brief spark. It is the beginning of sustained transformation. The wellspring forming from your hidden pain will become a source of strength to others still walking through their own hidden valleys. They will find hope in your story, courage in your steadiness, clarity in your breakthrough. You will be able to tell them not just that relief comes, but to show them living proof. That is why I have not wasted a single tear. Each one has been repurposed into something you will soon hold in your hands. Prepare yourself to receive without guilt. Prepare to step forward without shrinking. Prepare to stand upright under the weight of answered prayer, because it will be heavier than the weight of waiting. This is not a promise to soothe you temporarily. It is a declaration that what hath been forming invisibly is about to emerge visibly. Trust this process as it unfolds. Continue doing what is right even when it still feels hidden. Guard your heart from cynicism as you wait, because cynicism poisons harvest before it breaks the soil. Stay ready, stay stepped. You are closer than you think to seeing the evidence that none of your unseen labor was wasted. The hidden groaning you released has not only been stored, but has also nourished something unseen. For those tears that seemed to fall into emptiness have been watering seeds placed deep in the soil of your destiny, and now the first shoots are beginning to press upward, though you may not yet recognize them for what they are. What felt like breaking down has in fact been the softening of ground hardened by disappointment, preparing it to receive growth it once could not sustain. You thought the pain was pointless, but every drop of sorrow has acted as rain upon dormant promises that required saturation before they could sprout. There are outcomes now stirring that could never have awakened without the watering of your perseverance. You have been asking why answers took so long, and part of the mystery is this: harvest cannot appear until roots are established, and roots cannot deepen without consistent moisture. Your anguish supplied what nothing else could: patience that drilled deep channels, resilience that kept the seed covered, trust that pressed through uncertainty. Now heaven's response is converging with your history of endurance, and soon you will see stalks rising from ground you once judged as barren. Do not despise the silent seasons. They were incubation chambers. Do not dismiss the lonely hours. They were pressure cookers forging steel in your spirit. What is about to emerge would have crushed you had it come earlier. Now it will sustain you because you have been stretched wide enough to carry it. These watered seeds will not remain hidden. They will break through suddenly, surprising even you with their speed. One day the field looked lifeless. The next day green began to cover it. So it will be with you. And this new growth is not for you alone, it is provision for those connected to your journey. Your testimony will feed hungry hearts who thought their tears were meaningless. They will watch how your unseen investment produced visible fruit and will gain courage to continue their own walk. Your story becomes their nourishment, your breakthrough their hope. That is why your weeping could not be wasted. It was not simply about your healing, but about multiplying strength into a wider circle. Now get ready to handle abundance with the same humility you held sorrow. Do not let fruit puff you with pride, but let it remind you of the days when you survived on trust alone. Carry the lessons of the valley into the season of growth so you never forget who sustained you. The ground is shifting under your feet, and where you once felt only dust, soon you will stand in fields heavy with grain. Lift your head and prepare your heart, for you are about to walk into visible evidence that no pain was pointless, no sacrifice went unnoticed, and no cry was unheard. Although you are standing at the edge of visible change, do not misinterpret the quiet that surrounds you right now. Silence at this stage is not abandonment, but a signal that a hidden operation is nearing completion. When the surface seems still, deep currents are moving with force beneath, aligning events, conversations, and unseen eyes to converge at the right instant. In these moments it is tempting to conclude nothing is happening, to doubt the process, or to grasp at alternatives simply to feel movement. Resist that impulse. The pause you feel is a womb, not a void. It is a chamber where foundations are being sealed so that what rises next cannot be shaken. Like a structure poured with concrete, there is a curing period when nothing appears to change but strength is hardening unseen. If you disturb it too soon, cracks form later. That is why I have drawn you into this stillness, to secure what has been built, to finish intricate details without interference, to ensure that when the unveiling begins it will stand under pressure. This stage is where patience becomes power. You are not losing time. You are gaining depth. The endurance you show now becomes capacity for responsibility later. Many collapse under answered prayer because they never learned to handle waiting. You are being prepared so that the fulfillment you are about to step into does not overwhelm you. Hold your posture of expectancy without panic. Breathe steadily. Guard your language. Do not speak defeat over what is germinating. Protect your vision. Do not compare your timeline to another's. The sequence written for you is unique and cannot be measured by public milestones. While you wait, nourish your inner life. Sharpen skills quietly. Strengthen disciplines. Clear out distractions. These actions are not wasted. They are like oil in a lamp, ensuring you burn brightly when the moment arrives. Soon the stillness will break and movement will accelerate. Opportunities will come not as a trickle but as a surge. You will recognize them by the peace that accompanies them, even amid challenge. They will fit you like garments tailored for your frame. Doors that seemed immovable will slide open as if on hidden hinges. People you never thought would notice you will call you forward. Circumstances you feared were permanent will dissolve. This release will not be a random flurry. It will be a sequence of precise steps carrying you into rooms you were formed to occupy. And because you have allowed the silent season to do its work, you will walk in without intimidation. Your roots will hold. Your heart will remain steady. Your focus will stay clear. This is why the present stillness matters so much. Do not despise it. Do not rush it. Trust it. Let it finish shaping you. The unveiling is near, but it is the strength developed in secrecy that will sustain you in visibility. In a moment you will see why the quiet lasted so long, why the answers seemed delayed, why the doors stayed shut until now. Every withheld thing was protection. Every hidden thing was preparation. Every silent day was an investment. Now remain positioned, for what is forming beneath will soon rise above, and when it does you will recognize it was worth every moment of waiting. What you called emptiness has in fact been the loudest cry before heaven, for the very moments you sat wordless, staring at ceilings or through windows, thinking nothing was reaching beyond your walls, were the moments your silence thundered in my presence, carrying weight heavier than crafted prayers. Stillness can roar louder than shouting because it reveals the raw truth of your heart, and I have heard every unspoken ache, every thought that never left your lips, every groan that language could not capture. I have counted those pauses, and they have become incense rising before me. You did not realize that your silence had a sound, but it shook the courts above and set things into motion on your behalf. What looked like an activity was a courtroom filled with your testimony, because your restraint, your decision not to curse, not to abandon hope entirely, not to surrender to despair, spoke volumes. In the unseen, angels recorded your sighs as petitions and carried them forward like urgent documents that could not be ignored. Your tomorrow is already responding to those wordless appeals. This is why you should never judge progress only by what your eyes perceive. Much of what is shaping your path is birthed in realms your senses cannot track. Right now, alignments are forming because of what you withheld rather than what you released, because you chose to stay instead of walk away, because you chose to hold the line even when fatigue pressed you to collapse. Do not think that quiet resilience is unnoticed. It has tipped balances. Armies have moved at the sound of your stillness. You may not see yet, but situations you assumed were fixed have already begun to shift. People whose decisions once locked your future are feeling pressure to reverse course. Chains you thought permanent are cracking. This is the fruit of silence offered as faith rather than resignation. You did not quit, you waited. You did not curse, you endured. You did not close your heart. You left it open for me to enter. That posture has spoken louder than sermons. And now you stand at the brink of response, where what was once hidden begins to manifest. Watch how the coming days bring clarity, not through effort but through release. You will sense burdens lifting, clarity breaking forth, strength returning. It will not be accidental. It is the consequence of every quiet night where you chose not to give up. Your silence has reached its fulfillment. The turning has already begun. Stand ready, for the answers carried on the wings of those unspoken cries are descending into your present. They will land suddenly, and you will know they are the response to what you thought had been ignored. Nothing has been wasted. Every pause, every sigh, every moment you thought void of meaning has been stored and is now being repaid with acceleration. Do not despise the language of your silence. It has built the bridge to your breakthrough. Amen.